What up?
I
It's
was
your
not ready.
boy.
I was not ready, but what's up? How's it going, y'all? Judas and the Black Messiah. We said that we were like, this film's probably going to be a heavy pill to swallow.
And we were not left. No crumbs were left.
It definitely. What I said was like, oh, we should have watched this before we watched the Trial of the Chicago 7.
I mean, it's still fine because it's
is.
still like works, and it's like it's crazy because it's like you almost have like a Black Panther. This is, I mean, like real Black Panther cinematic universe in a way. Like what are the odds that like in 1 year that like, well, I mean, it happens a lot where there'll be movies that come out that are like of a similar vein. Sometimes it's just, but they're two movies about similar historic event, both nominated for Best Picture.
Yes. Well, I mean, they're sort of not necessarily similar historic events.
Sure, but they're closely related, and
yeah. It's another part of the multifaceted struggle that happened in the 1960s.
Yes. And so it definitely goes hand in hand with Chicago 7, but Judas and the Black Messiah, like it kind of speaks for itself. The biblical story of Judas who betrayed Jesus, and it's that. It's very much that. But I think one of the biggest themes in it is just the justice system, law enforcement, and how incredibly flawed and unjust it is as a system. Which is just, I mean, it's like
and one thing that's important to point out in this film is that it doesn't seem to, when it comes to the details, it's always like it plays it straight down the middle sometimes, where you'll see one of the Black Panther guys, he antagonizes and threatens the cops who are shaking down people in the business, and he starts this chain reaction of violence and events, and it's like, really who's responsible for what? Because that young guy, he had an AK, and he was like looking for cops to kill because he was upset that the cops had killed his friend. It's like, it's questionable. It's like, was it justified for the cops to kill this guy, or but was it justified for this guy to kill those cops? It's like there's both questions are being presented. It's not like, oh, we're going to just go ahead and say this film is all about the cops are bad and these guys are always innocent, and the victimized people are always innocent. Like, a film's not saying that. It's not. And I think it needs to not say that in order to be like, in order to really talk about what it's trying to say. What that, the system is effed in the wazoo, and these were significant events that were in the struggle of uneffing the wazoo.
Another interesting point that Daniel and I started to go into as we were watching the movie is talking about the Black Panther Party, and how at that time like a group of people were like really able to mobilize and like and to like really do things. And it's like we also started to talk about like would there ever be like another leader kind of like that, or like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. And it's like it seems like nowadays like it's not really about like having a person, because it's risky.
Unless you're Barack Obama.
But it's super risky because all these people died. Um and it's just like, I mean, if there's anything like there's so many layers to it, and like culturally and generationally. But it's like it I mean, and especially right now, it's like the cry of the people, one of the loudest cries of the people is just that the system is messed up, and like we're tired, and this like generations are tired. And I and there's people younger people, and not just younger people, but a lot of younger people are trying to speak up. And we're like, we want to bring about the change that people before us were trying to work towards. And the other interesting thing is, like, again, like with it's African Americans who are mobilizing and like organizing. And it's like, for like we're Filipino American, and like it's different for us, for our people, and especially because there's different Asian people groups, and it's a lot of different cultural not barrier, but just differences in culture and like religion. Like there's I don't know. It's a lot. I mean, so I know we're getting into like the reality and the social stuff, and not so much about the movie.
Yeah, we need to move back
sorry,
it's okay.
But it's part of it. I mean, it's just like,
yeah, the movie's doing what it intended to do, and that's why it's nominated for Best Picture, because all these films are trying to evoke like thoughts that, how do you relate, what do you get out of it?
Yes,
it's not just for entertainment purposes. It's like,
yes, which I appreciate. Yeah. And I was even like doing the little thing in my head of like, okay, where does this go into my rankings right now, because we just have one movie left.
Okay, well, let's talk about that later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, sorry.
So there's a couple things that I really wanted to talk about that I thought the movie was really good about. First of all, Daniel Kaluuya. I'm sorry. Homeboy did an impressive job. I gotta admit.
Killed it.
I mean, for a guy who's a British actor, what is it about British actors? I'm probably, British actors like are doing Americans better than Americans do Americans. It's amazing. Anyway, actually, I'm contradicting myself, because there are also times where I'm like, why do they have British actors playing Americans? Anyway, so yeah, I believe he's nominated for Best Supporting Actor, which is strange, because it's like,
well, the main character is the other guy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so, but it's still like one of the most significant roles in the film.
Yeah, it was crazy to watch the story, and then like the light bulb in my head clicked, like, oh, like this is what they were talking about in Chicago 7, and then it like it made sense.
Sure, I will say though that the Chicago 7.
Yeah, to pause because my phone ran out of memory, which could be a sign that we need to just do this. If we're watching these in the comfort of our own place, then what's to stop us from using all this? But
I'll set up a webcam over there, and then we'll just Anyway, okay, Daniel Kaluuya. Damn, Daniel. Wow, I actually get to do that to somebody else. He is up for Best Supporting Actor. Also for Best Supporting Actor, Sacha Baron Cohen. Um, and Keith Stanfield as well, the other guy, the main guy. I thought that was the main guy. But I think Daniel Kaluuya has probably gotta be it. He's probably gonna be it because I haven't seen. There's another guy from The Sound of Metal, which we will be seeing at last. After that, but I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, the way he does those motivational speeches and the accent, he looks so different compared to all the other films that I've seen him in and all the other stuff that I've seen him in. He really just embodied a new character, and it's insane, and the amount of charisma. It reminded me of similar to the film Last King of Scotland, and what's his name? Forrest Whitaker won an Oscar for that, playing Idi Amin, where what's James McAvoy is like a young guy who goes to learn about Idi Amin, and then he finds that he's actually, a really cool person, and starts being conflicted on his views politically. Anyway, the other thing is, so there's a pimp character that comes in later on, a pimp-looking guy, right? And I was like, well, this is a little confusing, this scene, and this, whatever, don't worry about spoilers. But, okay, so the Judas guy, Wild Bill, he slowly starts dressing fancier and fancier and fancier over the course of meeting with Jesse Plemons' character, and the FBI guy, because he's a paid FBI informant, so he's getting money, right? And then he decides he wants out, and then later on he comes across this pimp guy, this fly ass pimp looking guy, and then he's like, who are you? And then he's just convincing him to stay in the game, and I was like, this is kind of confusing. Why would a pimp be? But I don't think it's a pimp. I think the idea is that this guy is just another FBI informant, right?
Made to look like a pimp.
Well, he's just another FBI informant, but he looks like a pimp because he's been in it longer. So it's like...
Or it could have just been a part of the ruse.
No. It's metaphorical. See? Because as the Wild Bill keeps dressing fancier and fancier every time he meets Jesse Plemons, he gets money, he buys it on things to make himself look nice. He gets little things here and there. And so basically this is where you're headed. You're headed to be this guy who's up higher than you.
I suppose. I mean, okay, sure. Well, I don't know. I feel like the pictures are new now on the TV. But there is the symbolism of your outfit. In the beginning, he literally disguises himself as an FBI agent, and is wearing a trench coat and a fedora. Mm-hmm. And then it unravels that he becomes an actual informant for the FBI. And then eventually the unraveling of the Black Panther Party. One of the other thoughts I had is also what I've heard of, the idea that a lot of photography isn't so flattering for people of color. So there's the skill of just a visually beautifully crafted movie featuring people of color. There's a lot more to it.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I mean, it's and I don't want to say that in any way that's offensive, but just
I noticed the framing was kind of like that.
Just composition. Just lighting, and then people's skin tones and skin colors, how that looks, and it's amazing. Mm-hmm. So there's that, but it's a lot. I was like, there was stuff happening, and I'm like, I don't want to see it.
There are
Like,
some really
I
tough
did
scenes
not.
to watch. Like some of
I
these
couldn't
scenes
do
are
it.
just like holy crap.
But that's what happened.
Yeah, of
I
course.
mean,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
know.
like,
It's and the film doesn't shy away from showing the brutality
yeah,
because
yeah,
and then sometimes it does. Like there's a significant death in the film where it just happens completely out of focus, and and um so yeah, like
yeah. It's tough pills and swallow.
it is a tough pill to swallow, but here's the real question: how many different colors of berets do you give this film? That was a crazy scene too when they got. I didn't realize they got these Confederate trailer trash people and the Puerto Ricans and the Black Panthers to like make a little alliance thing and rally. That's pretty crazy. Anyway,
Yeah,
that was cool. That was cool to see.
that's Chicago,
This
like
and yeah,
Illinois.
and this is
Um,
yeah.
it's yeah, like and yeah, it's
Makes you
just
wonder too, like what are some of the things that the Oakland Panthers went through? Because I mean,
yeah,
Oakland is where the Black Panther Party started, which is right next to where we live.
yeah.
So
Whew. How many colored berets? I don't want to reduce this to berets, but
oh, you don't want to do berets?
no,
Okay.
it's okay. I don't want to reduce it to just berets, but oh. Is it weird that I want to give it a 10? But there's a cat. You want to hear like the caveat or whatever?
Okay, sure.
Because again, like these ratings don't matter because then well they do matter. But like but my honest power ranking still at number 1 would be Chicago 7. Just because like yeah. And then what was my number 2? What was my number 2? Minari? No.
Yeah, it was.
My number 2 was Minari. I want to still keep Minari at number 2. And then maybe number 3 would get bumped. This would get bumped into number 3. Because I'm also, and then what was number 4? Promising Young Woman.
Nomadland.
Oh, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman. No, did I put Mank at the bottom?
Yeah, you did.
Mank. Yeah. Am I missing anything? I don't know.
Probably are.
So number 1 is Chicago 7,
yeah.
Minari, Judas, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman.
Yeah, and then
Mank. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it from like comparing it to the whole. Like overall, like I mean, it's messed up, but like Chicago 7 had like it kind of tied it up in a nice pretty bow, and like it was still heavy, but I was like, okay, this one no bow. You are left out. You are left tattered and torn, naked on the floor.
It's a true story, and they give you some true facts towards the end, which are really like, oh wow. I mean,
but it's still like it's these again like these are all still movies that are in the best, and it like and I still have to give it like it's an important watch.
It's also of all the films that were nominated for Best Picture, like I saw this and I just like you look at the picture and you look at the subject matter, like I was like, well, I don't know if I feel comfortable watching this film, because but I say that it is a great film. Yes, you will feel uncomfortable, but it's not a discomfort that you'll be like, oh, I regret this. I don't. I hope I don't watch movies like this ever again. It's not that type of uncomfortable. There are films like that where I'm like, okay, it's uncomfortable. I hope that. But anyway, okay. Well, I will say I give it a 9. And the one and going on to your like the discussion you started about this versus Trial of Chicago 7. Yes, they're about similar subject matters, but I think the thing that I liked most about Trial of Chicago 7 over this one is that it had a bit more variety of like definitely a lot of humor. There was definitely a lot of like more just a bigger ensemble of characters and different personalities, and also it put you had a more broader perspective because you're looking at it from something that happened at the national level. So
yeah.
Whereas the Black Panthers, like, yes, this is important stuff, but this was Chicago, and the Black Panther Party is not today what it used to be, and
Yeah,
you know,
unfortunately. Well, yeah, unfortunately.
they still do a lot of good stuff.
But
Like they talk about like they fed children. They were trying to make
medical
a clinic.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay.
We got one more movie.
One more movie, The Sound of Metal. And we're tired.
Yeah.
But we had a massage today. And it was a pretty good Sunday. All right, guys. Next Sunday is the Oscars.
We have one more movie to watch.
Okay.
So, thanks
Peace
for
out,
watching.
guys.